guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be giving an entire DCP process timeline from like when I applied to basically where I'm at now, and then we'll go a little bit into the future up until move-in day and arrival date. So yeah, here we go. So I want to start with basically the reason I applied, I guess, for the DCP. It's always something I thought about, but was never like, oh yeah, for sure, I definitely want to do it. But it was kind of more like, if the opportunity presents itself, then yeah, I would definitely do it. So if you don't know, I'm actually a mechanical engineering major, and I really want to work in the themed entertainment industry. And so the idea of the Disney College program, at first I thought wasn't super relevant, considering it's more like hospitality management focus and things like that, and not necessarily specifically for engineering. But what I found out when I was just like looking at applying was that they do have engineering focused things. They have programs, and like Imagineers would come and talk to people who are in the program, and just like little things like that. Another thing that I thought about was, I guess when you're designing things like as an engineer, you kind of really want to look at the like customer experience and like their point of view and things. And so I thought that like working in the parks would really help with that side of things. So that was like another big reason that I decided to do the program. Yeah, so enough of my backstory, I guess. Now we can get into like the specific dates about my like application process. I applied for my DCP on August 31st, 2023, so a couple months ago. I actually didn't even have to do like the web interview or anything like that. I was doing like a lot of research and like preparing for that, but no, I was like a little worried. I was like, oh, I didn't get a web interview. Is that bad? Is that good? Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I just literally 2 minutes later went straight to a phone interview, which is pretty great. And so I scheduled my interview for September 13th at 2:15 p.m. And I actually recorded my interview, so you could go ahead and watch that. I'll have it linked in the description. My interview was great. My interviewer, his name was Chris, still remember. But yeah, it was a great interview, and I was really excited afterwards. Waiting on a response after my interview was kind of crazy. I was like really anxious like almost every day, and I was doing everything in my power to like distract myself and not think about it. I ended up joining a Facebook group to see if I can get like any insider details or anything like that. I found this lady on Twitter who was like, she's like a recruiter, and she would like post, hey, there's a wave coming through, because acceptances, they come in waves. And so I would like follow her and look on her Twitter account every single day. Acceptances typically come on Thursdays, and so that was very true for me. I got my acceptance on September 21st of September, and I got it at 10:46 a.m. So yeah, it was kind of funny. I was literally sitting in my differential equations class, and like our classes end at like 50, like the 50-minute mark, and so it's 10:46, and I was like checking my phone and stuff because I knew it was like a Thursday, and I was like, a wave is probably gonna come through, blah blah blah, because the lady posted and everything. So I was like waiting for a wave to come through. And they do like a wave, they do some in the morning and then they do some in the afternoon. So I was like, oh my gosh, it could come any time today. And I like literally like looked at my phone because we were about to leave, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got an email. And I like opened my phone and I looked at it, and I'm like in the middle of my DE class, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I just like saw the congratulations, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. And luckily I didn't like scream or anything, because that would have been very awkward. But I like right away, like I messaged my boyfriend, I told my parents. I was like, oh my gosh, I got in. And it was honestly one of the best things ever. Was like the highlight of my day. I made sure to get all the Disney vibes that I could, even in my outfit. And so like I'll put a picture of it here. It was like super cute, literally Disney everything, and it paid off. I guess, I don't know, I just need all the good Disney vibes I could get that day. That was pretty much my acceptance story. It's pretty cool. And so in that email you get like 3 steps that you had to complete. And so yeah, I went through, started doing those steps literally as soon as I got back to my apartment. Went through those steps, and so I selected my dates on September 24th, actually a few days later, just because I had to figure some things out. I talked to my parents, just like figured some basic things out like that. And then I followed the rest of the steps, and then I paid my first program fee, which is $240. Then I got another email a few days later asking you to sign up for their first like Zoom call. It's like, welcome to your Disney program. And I did that on the 28th, and they like give you 2 different times for that. And so I highly recommend doing those Zoom calls. They're so helpful. They give you so much information, especially when you just like have no idea what to expect or like what's about to happen. And so those emails are so, or not emails, sorry, those Zoom calls are so, so helpful. So at this point, I was like super excited, not really knowing what to do. And so I was like, oh, I'm gonna start looking for a roommate. And so I went back onto that Facebook account that I had followed earlier, made my own little like profile, I guess, and like post, and I put like my name, like my program dates, and like all the fun facts and things about me, like, I don't know, my night owl, my morning person, like things like that. So I filled that out, put in some pictures, and put to that Facebook group chat, or Facebook, to that Facebook group. And yeah, basically I would just like be looking through it and just like finding people who are close to my age. I found people who had the same major as me, and yeah, I found a lot of people do that, and I would honestly just be pretty bold about it. I'm not scared to be bold and just like message somebody to say hi. I literally would just like DM them on Instagram and just be like, hey, are you doing the DCP? Cool, what are your dates? And like just start a conversation with them just to get to know people. And yeah, I messaged so many people, honestly. Like I found another girl who plays volleyball. I literally found so many people. Another thing that I recommend is messaging people who don't even have the same dates as you, because regardless, you'll still be friends. Like they'll still be there pretty much at the same time, so you can still meet them. That's actually a way that I met my roommate. And so she didn't have the same dates as me. We had the same arrival date, but our departure date was different, and both of them have to be the same. And so I just messaged her and just was like, hey, I guess I'll make a friend, right? And it was really great. We had really great conversations. We hit off basically from the beginning, but we didn't have the same dates, which was kind of hard. And I ended up asking her if she wanted to move her dates a little far back, because she was like, oh, I wish we could be roommates, but we don't have the same dates, so it's so sad. And I was like, yeah. Do you have anything, like, are you doing anything up to like the 30th? And she was like, no, not really. And I was like, would you want to move your dates so we could be roommates? And she was like, yeah, sure. And so yeah, she ended up moving her departure date back like 15 days or whatever. And so we had the same dates, and so now we're roommates. And she's really great. So after all of this, pretty much, I was trying to figure out how to get the Disney College program as a co-op. And so my school, we do co-ops, and it's basically you're like just like confirming you're still a student while you're away on like a co-op or an internship. And so I was trying to get the Disney College program approved as a co-op, and it was a long process. And unfortunately, I did not get it accepted as a co-op, so I ended up having to withdraw from my institution in order to do the program. However, I like am still going back to my same school and everything, so it'll be fine and work out in that way. But specifically, like if you're an engineering major, you definitely have to think about that when doing your program. And so like making sure if like first of all checking like with like whatever your career services is, asking them, hey, do you guys accept the Disney College program as a co-op? And so I thought they'd accept it because before I even applied, I talked to an alumni at my school who actually did the program, and they accepted it as a co-op when they did it then. However, they said, hey, actually we don't accept this as a co-op anymore. And I'd already applied and got in, and I was like, oh, that's a hassle. Great. And so I had to figure that out and everything with that. If they don't accept it as a co-op, I would definitely suggest seeing what I had to do is see like what withdrawing from my school would do, like for like my scholarships and like my financial aid and things like that. And so I found out that it doesn't affect anything. Basically, I leave, come back, all my financial aid is the exact same, but that's not the exact same for like all loans and things like that. And so I would definitely check on your loans, financial aid, and like even if you're in any like programs or things like that, like for my sorority, I'm inactive for like the next 2 quarters, and so that's just how mine just like a program or an organization that I'm a part of, that I just like had to make sure that like once I come back, everything would be good, essentially. And then also making sure like you're graduating on time. I never had an intention of graduating in 4 years, to be honest. I mean, I definitely would try, but I knew that it was gonna take me a little bit longer, just knowing myself. And so I basically pushed everything to a 5th year, which I'm 100% okay with, and I'm really excited for. And so yeah, just if you want to graduate in 4 years, think about things like that. Making sure you're planning things out when you're taking what classes you're taking when, if you have like that goal of graduating within like 4 years. And so yeah, I just decided to withdraw from school. So basically I'm not in school right now, but I will be going back. So the next big step that I had to go through was dorms. My dorms registration was available on November 27th, and you have to complete it within 72 hours of when it's available. And so I went and completed it literally at like 8 a.m. I don't know why, but yeah, I went in and I completed it. It just asks you like name, verifying your date of birth, basic things like that. So also with your dorms registration, you are linking with your roommate. And so linking with your roommate, it's kind of a really specific way. So for the DCP, you can only link with one other roommate. And however, you're like living with 4 people, but you can only link with one other roommate, and you're not guaranteed to, one, you're not guaranteed to like have that roommate. They just kind of have to put that on there. And 2, you're not guaranteed to be living, like say you get a 2x2, you're not guaranteed to be living with that roommate. You could have a 2x2 with another person, and then the person you linked with can be in the other room with another person, but you'll still be like in the same like apartment, which is kind of crazy in my opinion, but that's just what it is. And so how you link with the roommate is, so between you and your roommate, you pick who the link leader is going to be, and that person is going to fill out their dorms registration first. So they go through their entire dorms registration, and then they put in your roommate's name when they like ask you on your dorms registration if you want a roommate, and all of that. And so then you put in your roommate's name, and then your roommate will get an email as soon as you like click submit on your dorms registration, and then they can complete their dorms registration because then you've already linked. And so that's like why it's a link leader process and everything like that. And so yeah, don't do it like at the exact same time, because then it'll mess up the like order and like the registration process. And so yeah, definitely choose link leader, and then link leader fills out their registration first, and then the other person will fill out their registration. So I literally, as soon as I filled out my dorms, I actually right after did my parking pass. And so I did my parking pass right away. Parking passes were $200. And so I had to do that, just registered. And I actually had to go to my dorms and like click on it as an event, and then like pay and like register for an event. And then I paid there and everything too. And so basically that's just saying that you're gonna go pick up your parking pass, I guess, when it's on your move-in day. It's like also time to pay your second program fee, and there's only 2. And so your second program fee is $202, and that'll cover some registration fees. It'll cover your first week's rent at Flamingo Crossings. Mine was due December 15th. So the day after I filled out my dorms, I actually did my second Zoom call, which is like the countdown to your DCP. And so that Zoom call goes over a lot more specific things. It kind of gives more of an outline of exactly what to expect and what's upcoming between like, you have like, I guess 2 more months until your DCP, until your arrival date. And so it gives you exactly what to expect up to those 2 months. So basically that's what I'm about to go over now. Just kind of give a summary of kind of some of the information that they gave me, that they gave us in that Zoom call. So 6 weeks prior to your arrival date, and this is all based off of your arrival date. So my arrival date is the 22nd of January. And so this is all 6 weeks. So this is all like weeks prior to that. And so 6 weeks before your arrival date, you'll get your program fee, which is the fee that I just paid. It's due December 15th. And so that's 6 weeks prior to my program arrival date. Then 5 weeks before, you should be getting your lease, which you need to sign 72 hours from like the time you get it. And then you'll also be getting like your room assignment. So you'll like, or your room preference. And so you'll know if you get like a 4x4, 4x2 or your 2 or a 2x2. And so yeah, that'll come 5 weeks before. So I should actually be getting my lease next week. I'm currently like 6 weeks before, which is crazy to me. So next week I should be getting my lease coming up. 4 weeks before your arrival date, you're gonna get your your role, which is really exciting. And then you're also, depending on what your role is, you have to do a drug screening, and so that'll come that'll all come then. So 4 weeks before. After that, 2 to 4 weeks before your arrival date, you have your pre-arrival documents, and so those include like your I-9s. Also will include some stuff like with your drug screening, things like that. So that'll all come like 2 to 4 weeks before your program. Then 7 to 10 days before your program, you're gonna get your official itinerary. Your itinerary is gonna include your official role and location, and it's gonna include your arrival day, check-in time. And so those are all really important things. And so more on the official role. So that 4 weeks before, it's kind of like a tentative role, which will be what you have that 4 weeks before. However, it's not common that it changes. However, it can, is basically what Disney is trying to say. And so when you get that official itinerary, that will be like 100% the role that you're gonna have. That's the difference with that. And then your arrival and check-in time, you do have a specific arrival and check-in time on your arrival date. And so the earliest check-in time will be 8 a.m. So like if you're trying to plan early, buy tickets a little bit earlier, definitely plan to at least be at Flamingo Crossings by at least 8 a.m. on your arrival date, like earliest 8 a.m. Because that you could have an 8 a.m. check-in time is basically what that's saying. And so yeah, that all comes 7 to 10 days before. Also 7 to 10 days before you get your training schedule. And so training will most likely start after your hire date, which will be after that Friday. So that next week you'll have your training. Okay, so now we're on to arrival week, which is super exciting. So arrival week, you have your arrival day, you have your check-in time, all that exciting stuff. Don't forget, one thing to not forget is that you will be taking your ID photo on your move-in day. So I don't know, I guess make sure you're ready for that. If you really care, I guess. And so one thing that you also get, you get 3 one-day park hoppers to use within 7 days of your arrival date. These are only for you. You can't use these for your family, unfortunately. And so it's basically kind of just to tide you over until you get that official card to go into the parks whenever you want. And then basically that week you'll have like a few appointments, things like that. And it'll let you know what appointments you have in your itinerary. It's just like, there are also things depending on what role you get. And then traditions is on that Friday. So traditions, that Friday is technically your hire date. And so Friday is the official day you become a cast member at Disney. And so you get there Monday. Monday is your arrival date. Friday is your hire date. There's a big difference there. Just to remember that. But yeah, that day is traditions. Really exciting. A lot of cool things. I'm really excited to figure out what traditions is and to experience it. I will be recording all of this as I go through it myself. This was just kind of to give kind of a rough timeline of things that are going on. Like right now I just paid my program fee, so I'm like pretty much I'm at that 5 week stage before the program. So I will be recording everything up until my arrival day, and then I'm recording my entire move-in week and then all of that stuff. And so yeah, stay tuned for more vlogs. It's gonna be great. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this kind of DCP process timeline video. I definitely hope to see you guys soon. And yeah, be sure to come back and watch more vlogs of me going through this super crazy, super exciting DCP experience. Bye.